Throughout man's existence, there have been ideological debates ranging from ideal farming techniques to questioning our purpose. In the 20th century, the greatest debate was between deeming the state as priority, seen in communism, or the individual, seen in democracy. In the end, by sheer percentage of countries who adopted democracy, it would seem that the ultimate value is placed on the individual. Rightfully so, when concerned with the individual, it is necessary to define what makes someone part of a collective group, but at the same time independent. The answer to this question is personal privacy. Without personal privacy, the only wisp of individuality a person can hold on to is their thoughts. Personal privacy is therefore of the utmost concern. With any new technology, we must weigh the consequences of its effect on our privacy and mitigate those risks. This is no different with the emergence of the Internet. The Internet provides many benefits to society and the world. However, as we progress towards storing more and more personal information in various technological formats, including the cloud, we must acknowledge that there are privacy concerns. Let's consider a typical smartphone. For simplicity's sake, it's logical to assume that a smartphone couldn't operate in the same fashion we know today without the Internet. Therefore, any concerns about privacy on a smartphone can generally be paralleled to that of the Internet as a whole. Back to a smartphone. A smartphone can be used to play games, check the web, or even give directions while driving. Many of the apps, similar to giving directions while driving, on a smartphone utilize the user's current, past, and/or future locations to assist with the user experience. This in itself is fantastic, so long as privacy is held. Let's look at an example. ABC News reported in February 2013 on a victim of stalking who was unable to live a normal life due to violations of her privacy. The perpetrator had installed a type of software that allowed him to track the victim's whereabouts quite easily just over the Internet. This is of great concern for adults, but even more so for children. As various technologies continue to utilize the Internet to share the user's location, personal privacy of this information is absolutely paramount. Retaining this information privately allows for the user to have great experience while not risking exposing their information to someone with a criminal intent. It is therefore very important that we be concerned about privacy in regards to the Internet.
On a higher level of consideration, let's look at our governments. We elect governments in democratic states to protect our interests and freedoms as individuals. Often, we will relinquish small freedoms with the goal of providing for our fellow citizens. However, what separates a fair state from a harsh police state is personal privacy. This ideology extends to any technology of this era, including the Internet. Millennials continue to incorporate the Internet into their daily lives. Millennials express their feelings and thoughts with friends over various social networking sites and apps. Similarly, we call our friends and family over the Internet to discuss our lives and personal information. This information is transferred with the explicit understanding that the information will remain between the parties at hand. When a government listens in on private conversations unlawfully, it is a significant personal privacy breach. Consider what happened in 2013 when Edward Snowden showed that the NSA had been listening in on citizens' private calls, including internet calls, without proper legal jurisdiction. The Internet provided a direct means by which governments could hear ideas and discussions that were personal and had no malintent. If we do not focus on the privacy concerns of the Internet, it could lead to a government that holds ultimate control over its people. This idea of listening in on non-criminal conversation is undemocratic. The Internet provides a means by which tyrannical governments no longer need to employ secret police, but only listen online. Governments and organizations should most certainly be permitted to delve into the private lives of certain individuals online. But we must ensure that our personal privacy on the Internet as law-abiding citizens is protected from unnecessary intrusion. There has been an exponential growth of Internet of Things and connectivity. Cisco, a maker of networking equipment, estimates that there are about 15 billion connected devices out there today, and the number will climb up to 50 billion by 2020. With so much connectivity, all the vulnerabilities of the digital world have been introduced into our real world. There is an increasing risk of cybercriminals who use techniques that get bolder and more sophisticated each year. In recent times, there have been several high-profile cybersecurity breaches that have led to disclosure of private content. For instance, about 173,000 private email conversations were leaked from Sony servers according to WikiLeaks. An article in BBC News confirms that iCloud accounts of many celebrities were hacked and their private pictures were leaked. These are only a few examples of many such cybercrime cases. There was an article released on Zone Alarm describing the risks of using free public Wi-Fi hotspots at various sites. Our personal information is mostly in the form of social media, emails, online banking information, and likes. Cyber criminals can take advantage of this sensitive information, which is a huge threat to personal privacy.
The protection of the individual is at the heart of internet privacy concerns. This not only includes protecting our information from other individuals and governments, but also organizations. It is foolish at this point to rebuke that utilization of the internet as a choice. Using the internet is necessary for almost any basic job function in Canada. Without the skill set, you would not be able to provide your own basic needs, food, water, housing, etc. That said, often organizations like Google, Apple, or Microsoft will use our personal information in an honest fashion that promotes an enjoyable user experience. However, when these corporations begin to cross the line of what personal data is acceptable to store from the internet and what isn't, that is where our concern should lie. Of particular concern is any internet data storage from children. Washington Post rang the alarm bells in December 2015 that Google was actively tracking children's purchases and using this information. Children should not be commoditized. Children are not at an age where they can effectively make the most logical and substantiated decisions. Corporations attempting to get their parents' money should not ethically pursue the direct route through children. Privacy concerns on the internet can seem at times overwhelming. However, if each problem and new addition is thoughtfully and ethically carried out, including data collection, then everybody wins. Our team has clearly communicated our stance that personal privacy should be a concern while using or engaging the internet. It is not suffice to simply say to a concerned person that they should not use the internet. The internet is now so ingrained in our economies and societies, we might as well suggest not to breathe air. We have raised the concerns over privacy violations by individuals where criminals took advantage of personal information to do with the internet. As well, we have highlighted that even some of our most trusted institutions, our governments, have violated personal privacy over the internet. The progression of technology such as Internet of Things and increase in internet connectivity will also cause personal information to become more vulnerable to leaks and hacks. Last, we considered the balance that corporations need to take with storing personal data to provide a better service. Personal privacy over the internet can be achieved, but it must be done methodically. To immediately say that the internet is a free-for-all is foolish. Equally as foolish is to say that no transfer of personal information should occur over the internet. A fine balance must be reached, but to achieve this balance we must first admit that there are personal privacy concerns with the internet.